and welcome to Check 1 2, where we give you the lowdown on testicular cancer by talking to survivors, advocates and supporters of testicular cancer awareness, and we do it all from the world famous podcast studio Glasgow. On today's episode, I'm joined by a man whose story is as tough as it is inspiring. Chris Russell is a dad from Scotland who faced a life-changing diagnosis that left him unable to eat, fighting through some of the most brutal side effects you can imagine. What started as something that didn't feel quite right quickly escalated into a serious health battle, turning everyday life upside down for him and his family. But this isn't just a story about illness, it's a story about resilience. And despite everything he's been through, Chris has refused to let his diagnosis define him, even taking on major physical challenges to prove that he's still there, still fighting and still moving forward. So in this episode, we'll talk about the reality of diagnosis, the impact that it had on his life, and why sharing stories like his is so important, because conversations like this can genuinely save lives. This is Chris Russell's story. Thanks very much for coming on Check 1 2.
Thanks for having me.
Honestly, thank you. I think I've just said this again recently, like all stories are so important, and it's even more so that there was a young guy for Greenock just died for testicular cancer in February. So, you know, these stories are even more important about checking and making sure the awareness is there. So, you know what I mean? So thanks so much, honestly.
Definitely.
It helps us as Cahonas, like, make sure that message is out there. So for folk watching, folk listening, just tell us your name, a bit about yourself, a bit about your kind of testicular cancer diagnosis, and then I will just shoot the breeze, mate.
All right. So I'm Chris Russell. I'm 38 now. I was 37 when I got diagnosed. Basically, I went through ill for a while. Ended up I was going back and forth to the doctors, and I was getting treated for having IBS, which I knew deep down wasn't the case. I was struggling to eat, losing weight, literally in and out of the doctors every couple of weeks, just getting new. Every time I went in, it was new pills. Try these. So it got to the point. I was actually at my wee cousin's party. It had been February time last year, and I could hardly move. The pain in my back and my hip and my stomach was excruciating. I ended up spent 9 hours in A&E that night, getting bloods done, all the lot, and then the last thing I got told was to go and buy laxatives.
Oh, really?
So that was basically, got up the next day, and it was actually my dad had said, right, just get yourself booked in, we'll go private with this. So I went and booked Ross Hall. It was about a week later, went and met the guy, met the doctor, told me straight away to go, and we're going to get a CT scan, and depending if it showed anything up, I'd get a colonoscopy as well, which was going to work out just over $3,500. Got the CT scan about a week later, and then I get the phone call that night. You've got a 10.5 centimetre by 7.5 centimetre tumour in your back, which at the time they thought it was actually a cancerous tumour called sarcoma. But so I had to wait, and we eventually got a biopsy done on it, and it came back saying it was actually called a germ cell tumour, which is related to testicular cancer. Yeah, it comes in a different part of your body. Yeah. And that was the beginning of the journey, as they say. It's I think it was about 8 weeks after that before I actually get taken in to get started.
And what type of chemo did you end up having to get? Can you remember?
Cisplatin. Cisplatin was a part of it. I forget the name of the other part of it. But it was a 12 hours a day chemo, 5 days a week. It was 5 days on, 16 days off, which was brutal. You obviously know it yourself. The first time I went in on the Thursday, meant to be starting on the Monday. So it was obviously like then you go through all your tests, and I ended up in for 4 weeks between the Beats and the Queen Elizabeth. So that was what they found, was I was losing blood. I was becoming anemic, like walking even to the wee BP garage. It was round the corner and I couldn't do it.
Right.
So they found out I was losing blood, got scans and everything done. Turns out that the tumour had actually attached itself to a part inside me called your duodenum,
Right.
which is just like a tube that basically connects like your intestines to your stomach. So the tumour had actually started growing inside it, which was causing all the blood to lose. So I was daily getting blood transfusions, which wasn't nice.
Aye.
And it was getting to the point, 4 weeks before I could actually get started, and even at that I'd end up spending my first 2 rounds of chemo in intensive care in the Queen Elizabeth because they were scared of surgery.
Right.
The words were sitting with my mum and my partner, there's a good chance you're going to bleed out and die if this goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the full thing, sitting there, end up in intensive care, strapped up to all those machines 24 hours a day in a wee lonely room yourself. And then the chemo started, and thankfully enough everything went smoothly.
Aye. I suppose that's scary in itself, like to be told you've got cancer, but to then be told like, well, actually it's doing this, and you could bleed out and die. Like to actually hear those words, like what, like mentally, where were you when you were told that anyway?
Well, I've always been positive, and even for the word go, when I get told it was just basically like, I've got 2 young daughters, so there was no other option than to give this everything. I think possibly the hardest part of it all was once they had obviously received the biopsy, and I went to the beach and I spoke to my consultant and everything. It was basically, this is very treatable. We're going to get a hold of this. Basically said straight away you're that, but then as I say, you start every day there was something new. There was a new issue arose every single day, and it was like, what's happening here? When so that day, as I say, that ended up, it was like 4 weeks later. My consultant, she came to the Queen Elizabeth to see us, and that's when she said those words, and it was basically, well, if we don't do it, I'm going to die anyway. So it's like I need to give this a shot. It's it taking a wee hit, but at the same time it was just like, I've got to.
Yeah.
I can't. I just want to get it started now. If something happens, it happens. It's gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Aye. It's a funny thing though, like especially like it. I mean, the folk who are younger than us almost say we're young, but we're still young. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So like to have to almost kind of like play with your own mortality in a situation is a lot to ask for. Do you know what I mean? Like it's when you look back at that time, and that those questions was, I take it you were just concentrating on the girls and just kind of like your family and going, right, I have to do this because like you say, one way or the other.
There was no other option.
Yeah.
So it was this thing beating me, wasn't it? It was never even thought of for the word go. Basically, I was ready for the fight. So I wasn't. That's what it was. It was as I say, I don't think any time in life you're ever expecting to hear those words getting said to you, and it probably hurt more the fact that my mum and my partner were sitting with me at the time. That was probably a bit harder for them to process, especially. But it was one of them. It was basically, let's just get started, and that's it. Ended up the first 2 doses. It came. I was meant to get four rounds, but the first 2 doses ended up in the first dose was a half strength to see how the tumour would react.
Right. Because
they were scared that if it basically hit it too hard, too quick, it would rip a hole in my duodenum. If it shrunk too quick, it would just rip a hole, and it was like, basically it'd be blue lights down at the surgery room. So they started on a half dose, and the second time it was a 3/4 dose. Then coming round the third, I was able to go full strength. So I'd done my 4, And then I'm thinking your beauty, that's us done, to then get told, no, we want to give you one more.
You're like, oh.
because you've knowed your full
Yeah.
quota. So looking back now, the last round was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only word I could use for
Right.
it. But I'm glad that I done it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously everything's been successful, so the consultants know what they're doing, the doctors and surgeons know what they're doing. It's just having to basically put all your faith into them and just trust that what they're doing is right, because they know better than us at the end of the day.
Well, yeah. I suppose though it's like it's nice, I suppose, that you still feel like that, because obviously like you've spent so often, like for, you know, months, if not like, was it a year or something, going to the doctors and, you know, them saying, no, it's this and this, and you know, your cancer diagnosis was missed for such a prolonged period of time. I suppose, like, how did you feel now that you're through it? You're like, yep, brilliant. Everybody at the Beekson and the consultants and the Queen Margaret and all that, they all done exactly what they needed to do. But when you went in, having experienced that misdiagnosis, was there anything, were you apprehensive about anything they were doing or saying, or did you just think, I've just got to do it anyway?
No, I think as soon as everything, there was that much to and froing, because if you speak to my consultant, I think what I kind of had was very rare, and for ages they didn't know what it was, and seemingly like she showed me countless emails, and basically my case was getting sent round about like every surgeon and doctor in Scotland. There's a lot of them didn't want to even try and take me on because they didn't have a clue how anything was going to go. So I think it was pretty unique, but it was, as you just put all my trust in them, and it was basically just anything they wanted me to do, I'd do.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I laugh at home now, because I say it and everybody laughs at me and tells me to stop saying it, because I'm like, I feel like through everything I actually had even though I had the cancer and I had the illness, I had the easy side of it. As in, I just get told, be here on this day at this time, go and do this, go and lie in that bed to get strapped up.
Yeah.
Everybody else had to do all the running about. You think like your family, they're the ones that are sacrificing to get up and down to the hospital every day to help you, and get 2 young kids. It was getting them to school and getting them watched, and like the world was crazy out with what I was doing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel looking back, it was like everybody else had all the chaos round about them. I was sitting there, it was, what I was doing wasn't nice, but it just felt like I actually had the easy side of the stick.
You're just sitting there like, what?
Somebody comes in, right, you need to come down here and get your bloods done, okay?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wheeled away.
That's exactly it. Somebody comes and takes you for it. It's what the people in these, I can't obviously thank them enough, but just amazing.
Aye.
Like, genuinely amazing, and I've just got a lot more respect than I ever did. Obviously you knew they'd done it, but you don't realise what goes on in these hospitals until you're in there.
Yeah.
I feel like and I always felt I was in a bad way, but once I got in there, it was like still a lot of people in a worse place than you, and it really kind of humbles you a bit.
Yeah.
I think basically in there there's a couple of teenagers kicking about, you know what I mean, and there's always somebody worse off, and I felt that helped with, in a weird way, my positivity about just not judging people either. It was just getting there, everybody's in here fighting the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
funny though, it's like from an objective point of view, what you went through, like there's not very many people would have been worse off than you, but it's a typical kind of, I think it's definitely a right Scottish thing. There is probably like other nations will think this, but every Scottish guy, like, it's like the leg could be hanging off and somebody's got a cut finger like, but they're worse off than me. Like that I can't feel this anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's this typical Scottish mentality of, nah, somebody else is worse off than me. You know, which I suppose is admirable and lovely of Scottish people that we kind of do that the way, but it's almost like a self-defence mechanism as well.
Well, definitely. And when you're saying that, it's things like, because they'd found that I'd been bleeding, they couldn't give me the blood thinners during my chemo, because that could obviously cause even more problems because I was losing blood. So I think it was it just before I came in for my 4th round? I came in for my Friday check-up as normal, getting bloods done, and I sat with one of the doctors, and she's like, everything okay basically? And I'm like, I said, I've been fine. I says, but every time I take a deep breath, I've got a slight wee pain in my chest. And straight away, her face just kind of dropped. And straight away, I'm like, I think everyone's all right. It's just literally... And next thing, she's typing on the computer, and she's like, I want to send you for a scan. I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay, I was actually starting to get annoyed at myself that I even spoke, because I'm like... And then she's like, I'm going to need to get you... You're going to need to come in as an inpatient again. So it's basically get your stuff and go up to the ward. And I was like, oh, you're joking. I was due back in on the Wednesday, and I'm like, I'll be all right, Ken. And she's like, no, I'm worried here. Yeah. I get sent for a scan. Next thing they come up, you've got a blood clot in your lung. Oh. So that was, then I'm sitting there, oh, here we go. Still felt all right. So that was the Friday. And then I get taken through into, like, it was basically the intensive care unit in the Beatson. Mm-hmm. Then I'm all lying strapped up to machines again, and oxygen, and woke up the next morning in the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And it was like, I couldn't breathe. The pain coming up my side, obviously, and around where my lung was excruciating. Couldn't move, couldn't get comfy. And the next thing, the nurses are in jagging me with morphine. I ended up with like 3 jags of morphine within the space of 20 minutes.
Was that bad?
I've never experienced pain like it in my life. So after that, I was glad that I'd actually opened my mouth even before that. I was like, I genuinely don't know what would have happened if I'd woke up feeling like that in my house.
Mm-hmm. So you'd have been an ambulance job, really, like that type of pain.
When I'm saying I couldn't move, it was like genuinely, I couldn't move an inch without pain soaring through my body. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. And then that ended up me on blood thinners for 6 months. Jagging myself twice a day. It was it's just another thing to add into the story. So it was.
And how did the clot resolve? You know, what was the outcome? Like, how did they get rid of that and things like that?
Basically just the blood thinners,
and just got it moving around.
So as I say, it was blood thinning jags for 6 months, twice a day.
Scary though, eh?
Just eventually, it cleared. Luckily,
I had no fear of it kind of like going anywhere else. It was just they're just.
Well, that was. I think the last time I counted up CT scans, I had 16. Right. Which they start telling you they're worried when they're giving you that, because the CT scans can end up causing you cancer. So they just kept checking every so often, just to make sure nothing had spread or in. So that was lucky in that sense. Lucky I got caught as well. Yeah, it was just another problem that came along. So it was
the one of many hurdles that you had to kind of endure. Obviously, like having a young family and stuff as well. Like, how did you navigate that with the kids? Like, was that something that you spoke to them about, or was it just Daddy's not well, like he's just going to be in hospital for a while?
That was basically, at the time they were 5 and 2, 2 girls. So I think in a way I was lucky they weren't older, so they'll never really understand it until they're older. That's if they even remember it. It was basically I sat them down and told them, Daddy's no well, he's going to get medicine that's going to make his hair fall out. And Mo just burst out laughing. So that kind of made it a bit easier to try and explain it, because I'm sitting there welling up trying to tell them. She bursts out laughing. So I let them start shaving my hair, just to try and get them involved and prepare them for genuinely having no facial hair or anything, which was a weird look. I think there was I've got 2 young nieces as well. One's just turned 11, the other one's 6, the same as my oldest daughter. But they come up to visit me once, and it was like we forgot that my oldest niece could read. Right. So she was able to read on the Beatson Cancer Centre. And it says, my uncle get cancer. saying to her mum and everything. So I think that was the kind of first realisation when, like, one of the young ones in the family was actually realising just what was going on.
Aye.
Which wasn't nice.
Because these things will happen so often as well, though. It's like you go, like, the word cancer gets put about and heard, and you forget. It's like you say, the wee ones, they'll read that and see that, just because they're so aware of everything, You think, it's just 1 wee letter, you know, but
So that was, as I say, that was when my sister says to my Poppy questioned me on whether you've got cancer or no. So I don't know, she's all into her gadgets, I don't know how much she looked into it or anything, but that was the same. My two they're too young to ever really understand what was going on. It was just basically daddy's in hospital and it's going to get better.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like, the hardest bit's seeing them and them having to leave while you're staying in there.
Yeah, aye. And obviously, like, see, when you got told that it was cancer, was your wife with you? Was she with you, or did you have to tell her that yourself?
She was, weirdly enough, she was actually putting the girls to bed.
Right.
As I got the phone call.
Right.
So I get told over the phone. And I think when she came up the stairs and seen me, she knew it was something wrong. So it was basically just, I never got to say right to the girls that night. It was like get them done as quick as possible, and then so I phoned my parents and they come straight down, because it was, you know what it's like, it's just the biggest shock of your life. Genuinely is. Through everything with what I was experiencing, it was like I couldn't eat. Whenever I ate, the pain I was getting in my stomach, it's unbelievable. And then as soon as that happened, I get the horrible pain in my lower back and hip, which obviously, looking at it now, it was, the tumour was, the size of it was squashing everything.
Yeah.
And it was sitting on nerves. But at the time I thought my diagnosis would come back, I'd maybe had a twist in my intestine or something that was causing a blockage or something. But so to hear those words, you've got cancer, is worst ever.
Aye. You'd nothing prepares you for it, like you say.
No.
There's nothing in this world that ever prepare you for those words, eh?
And that's the thing. You said any doctor you spoke to, and everyone was like, this is very rare at your age. Everything's at your age. You're too young. You're too this. You're not too young.
Aye.
I think yourself, like me, other people that were in there at the time, they were younger than me. Just proves it.
I think that's the thing as well. It just shows there still is this, like, even though we know factually that, like, a germ cell or testicular cancer will hit between 15 and 45. You'll still get doctors and things like that going, oh no, you're too young, this will not happen to you, it's rare. It's like, well, that can't be true, because it's the most common cancer for men aged between 15 and 45. So it's like, it just, we're still fighting an uphill battle even within getting people diagnosed. Do you know what I mean? Because your story is one that's far too often heard. Like at this table or in these chairs, when I've spoke to other guys, like the amount of times boys were gone to the doctors, and it's not going to be that, but it could be this, you know, and it's just happening far too often. And, you know, again, I don't know the ins and outs of what happened with that young laddie that just passed away, but at 16, you know, how long was he sitting on that for?
Exactly.
You know, was he going to the doctors about other things and they weren't catching it, you know, and then 2 years later, you know, he's lost his life. I just think it's a tragedy when that type of thing happens,
100%.
You know?
100%.
As Cahonas, like, that's the battle we're fighting against. You know, you're trying to get into, you know, you look at the news report or the kind of social media pages of where the news was, and it's all these people, this should be taught in schools, this should be taught in schools. It's like, and see the struggle we've got getting into schools. You're going, because there still is that stigma and embarrassment, because it's testicular cancer you're talking about as well, eh? You know what I mean? So there's still this, like, oh no, we can't get somebody in to do that. And you're like, come on, guys, it's important.
100%. I think you're always thinking it's never going to happen to me. I think, especially in my case, I could have felt around as much as I wanted, and I'd have still wouldn't have known, because it came in the other part.
It came up in your abdomen,
So I think even the fact of my story will hopefully help somebody else as well, where it's still relative to testicular cancer. It's just appeared somewhere else, and just get everything checked. If you're worried in any way, literally just go and see about it.
Yeah, because that's what we talk about. Like, so see, when I go to the schools and do the talks and stuff, I'll always say, like, when we talk about regular self-checking, it's like, these are the things you can feel in, like, the scrotum itself. But there is always going to be, and I always say that, like, folk will feel really fatigued, loss of appetite, pain in the abdomen and chest. Like, I talk about all these things. I says, yes, when we talk about self-checks, that's a really early detection for if it's on the testicle itself, but it still can appear elsewhere. So I'm always beating the drum on that. It's like, if you're unusually tired, if you're not eating as much, if you have to go and get seen by the doctor. And I think now, I can't remember the girl's name, but there was a girl in England who basically, there's a new, do you know how, like, when something bad happens, it's now the person's name plus the law. So it's like, so it's like, say the lassie's name's Rebecca, it's now Rebecca's law. That I think she went to the doctors 3 or 4 times, maybe more than that, with the same set of complaints, but they never done the check for the thing that she died of. So it was a cancer that she died of.
I think I know what you're talking about. Actually.
So I know for me, just recently, like, so I've had like a mental scare as such, like, because I've had like this weird kind of lower mid-back pain that's different. It's not like muscular skeletal that I've had. So over this, so I've been going to the doctors for ages. Like, so eventually, like, I went and saw a doctor who reached out to urology at Beatson, and they went, no, like, get him a CT scan. So I got my bloods done. I got my phone call today to say my bloods were fine.
Oh, superb.
So I'm happy with that.
It's the best phone call ever.
I know. But I've still got to go for a chest, abdomen, and groin CT. And that's me 10 years later. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm 10 years clear and I'm still getting like these mad wee scares. And, you know?
I think that'll stay with you forever now.
Yeah.
And that's just the way of the beast, unfortunately. It's always going to be at the back of your mind. That's, I think, even with me, obviously, I've had the surgeries and everything now. It was 2 surgeries in one. Removal of tumour and the removal of the testicle, which has left me with a couple of nice scars. But it's like, after they had them removed, they'd obviously sent them away for tests done, and they come back to show that both had signs of teratoma.
Yeah.
Which is like, well, what they told me is like an aggressive cancer that doesn't react well to chemo. So obviously getting in there and getting all that out was the right thing to do.
First and foremost, that was the thing.
But I think it's as you say, any wee niggles, or as I say, even where I ended up with an infection after the surgery, I've still got a wee bit of where it's hard under the skin, and you start thinking, is this a hernia appearing? Is it? Do you know what I mean? And you speak to somebody like, is it sore? No. Well, you'll be all right then. It never nothing showed up in the scan, but you're still like,
this is still doesn't feel right.
You know, we started getting wee nips round about the scar, and it's like that'll be nerves starting to repair, so you'll get wee nip straight away again. You're thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah, every wee, especially you. I mean, you're only a year out. You know, you're still so in it. I don't think, like, for me, it was years before I fell out of it. Do you know what I mean? And even then, you're not. But see, when you went and you've got the diagnosis, they've told you that you had this mass and tumour here. When they said, by the way, this is a type of testicular cancer, what was your thoughts on that? Because obviously you went and they said, well, no, my cancer's here. How does it affect in there?
Couldn't understand it.
Right.
I couldn't understand it. I think especially with the tumour being so big, like it got to the point, if I was lying flat on my back, I could actually, my stomach was protruding out. So it was, because I'd lost that much weight as well. But when they told me it was a germ cell tumour, straight away I'm like, right, that's fine. So, it's a testicular cancer thing. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's when they said it. It was something about, it comes down the way as well. Like when it drops into you from above, to start. I'm like, aye. It was madness.
Because of germ cell cancer, so it spreads like wildfire, eh? So it's like, for if you get it in your actual testicle, it's going to, like John Harrison, it fired straight up right through him. Whereas like for yourself, it's fire, it's raining down on you, eh? Like just to get to those lymph nodes that are in your abdomen, eh? It just wants to duplicate and replicate, eh?
That's, as you say, I'd question how long. To me, I was thinking, I wonder if it's actually, because it's when I look back now, there's a lot of signs where I worked with my dad for years and everything. I always complained to him that I always blamed it in COVID and everything. I was like, I've always felt that after that, I was always tired. No matter what I'd done, I always just felt tired. So once I get this diagnosis, I started going, I wonder if this has been growing in me for a while. And then I spoke to my consultant. She's like, no, this thing grows quick. It'll have appeared quite sudden.
Aye.
I'm all right. You think for the size, it genuinely must have grew at an awful rate. Aye. And to go for the size it was at, and after my chemo, it was down to, I think it was less than an inch in size before they could actually even think about doing surgery on it. It was unbelievable.
We had a guy on, Terence Hartnett. He was a comedian. He came on and he had a tumour in his. I think it must have been in his lung. So when they first got the first scans done, it was a good sized tumour. But then by the time he had went from and it was a matter of weeks, went from there to surgery, it was the size of a tennis ball.
Aye.
And that's how quick. Do you know what I mean? It was like mad. This. It was like this. Do you know, like almost like a conker size, and then went to a tennis ball.
Aye.
Jeez.
Just with the space of no time at all.
Aye, none at all.
It's crazy.
Aye. And so obviously, like you've went into that surgery, you've had a big abdo surgery, but then you've had to get your orchidectomy. Did they just do that at the same time? Aye. One go. Thank God for that, though, because you wouldn't have wanted to go under knife twice, I suppose.
So they were struggling. They were trying to find a date that was suitable to get me in for surgery, because they couldn't tell from scans whether the tumour was still attached to the duodenum or not. So they had to draft in another surgeon who deals with stuff like that, in case they had to repair it and cut part of the duodenum away. So the surgeon did tell me, he says, if everything goes well, we'll just get both surgeries done at the same time. But if we have to operate in the duodenum as well, your body will have been through too much, and we'll not can do at that time. Yeah. So I'm saying I still remember there was things happened after I woke up, and even though they didn't happen. I can just remember the doctor standing over me and saying everything went well, everything went to plan, and basically that was the first bit of good news I had.
Yep.
Was getting told that the surgery went the way it was meant to go. But just when I'm saying that, it was like thinking when you wake up, and it was a couple of days later, I was speaking to my partner, and it says, what was I saying to you when I spoke to you after my surgery? And she went, you didn't? So I was like, I did. I said, I phoned you and spoke to you, and she's like, you never phoned me. She says, the only phone call I got was for the surgeon to say that everything was a success and you were awake, and basically to head up to see you. I'm going, no. I said, still to this day, I can clearly see a nurse standing next to the bed that I was lying on and saying, do you want me to phone your partner for you? And I said to her, I've not got my phone here. And she said, it's all right, you can use this phone. It was like an old Nokia, and I've got her phone number here, because obviously they had to take her details to phone her. So I'm like, perfect. And I can remember speaking to her, but don't know what I said. But she went back and showed me phone call records, and she never received a phone call apart for the surgeon.
She just had a lovely wee hallucination.
That became the norm. That you know what it was like when you're on all the painkillers and everything, and some of the stuff was. And when I look back, it's funny. I was having obviously you're dreaming, but you think it's real. And in my dream, I had fell, and I had just obviously I was still strapped to all these machines, and I'd had the surgery and everything. So in this dream, I knew that I had this surgery, and I was struggling to pull myself back up when I'd fell. So automatically, when you're under that, you kind of tense up, and all the machines and everything started buzzing.
Oh, really?
And all the nurses come sprinting into the room because I'd stopped breathing. So I was in my dream, I was holding my breath to try and build up the strength to pull myself up. But in real life,
are you actually holding your breath?
All these nurses thought that I was away. They were sprinting into the room. And when you think back, the pain meds were great for what they'd done, but when you think they were horrible, just the manipulation of the mind. And
the worst ones that I took was it was the DF-118. It's like the kind of there's it's a painkiller, and I remember you can see why, like, you know, like folk who are coming after them are squirrely, because I felt like I had bugs under my skin anytime I taken them. It was a horrible drug, like.
It was weird. For a while, I was on the morphine. It was a slow release morphine. So I was on that twice a day. Then after the surgery, I was still on that. They started giving me the liquid morphine as well if I was in pain. And I had a button that I had. So after the surgery, I had these 2 patches on my stomach that had basically tubes going inside me. When I pressed this button, it injected morphine into me. So it was basically, the doctor says, anytime you feel a slight bit of pain, just press the button. You know, you're sitting there rattling this. And it was just, literally, it was just knocking me out all the time. I could be sitting talking to my partner or whoever was in visiting. It was just, that was me away.
It just knocks you for 6, eh?
And as you say, once I come off them, the hardest part of fun was actually sleeping at night. My body was so restless. Like the twitches in the arms and the legs, and there was nights I literally wasn't sleeping a single minute.
You're withdrawing, that's the thing, eh? Like, you're actually going through a really minor withdrawal, which I imagine, like, you were addicted to that, and that was bad enough just coming off the tablets. You know, it
was horrible. But they certainly needed at the time.
There was an anti-sickness tablet I got. It was dextromethasone. Did you get Dex? And because it's a steroid, I remember any time I took it, with 45 minutes to an hour, it felt like somebody was pushing a train through my head because I just had to go. I was like, but at the very start, I didn't have the ability to move. Like, my brain wanted to go, but my body just wasn't able to. And it was the weirdest feeling. It was like, I felt like I could have, no one folk use them for working out, because I feel like I could have lifted a bus if I didn't have been operated on. Do you know?
Oh, it's mad, and it's how the doctors and the nurses, they figure all the stuff out, like what the doses should be and all that. And I think they obviously up my morphine intake because I was already on the slow release, so it was like, they're saying what they were planning on giving me wouldn't even affect me. You know, like, so the different effects it has in the mind and the body, and it's unbelievable.
I remember after my surgery, they'd phoned my wife to say, like, that's him awake, this is what he's had, type of thing, eh? And it was like, and then fentanyl. And my wife, who works in psychiatry, knows what fentanyl is, but she reported back to my mum and dad. My mum worked, she still would be working in the pharmacy at that point. So they've given him whatever the amount of fentanyl was, and my mum went, what? That could knock out an elephant, that amount of fentanyl is, apparently. And but weirdly, I've always had this thing, it's like, I don't know, genetically there must be something in me where my body burns through drugs.
Right.
So see when I was really wee, you couldn't give me Calpol. I had to get regular strength paracetamol, because my body just burned through it. You know, it's like, I blame it. I didn't just have ADHD in my brain. My body actually had it. You know, it just went and ate drugs. You know what I mean? I've always been that way. Even if I had a drink, folk will go, he's not drunk, but I feel it. You know, and I'm like, I've had a skinful, but it's like, my body just burns through stuff like that. It's the weirdest thing, but I had enough fentanyl to knock it. No. But it's such a weird thing waking up though and being as disorientated as that. You know, like, I definitely phoned you.
I would still argue about it. I genuinely would still argue about it.
It's funny that you see it so clearly as well. It's like that is a clear as a bell thing for you.
And to me, it was just, it was a proper nurse's phone and everything. Like, it's like,
love it.
It's the things that the stuff does to you. As I say, to me, it's still clear as day.
Aye. See, obviously, like you've went and like you've had your orchidectomy, like your cancer like diagnosis like was kind of like probably back to front for that testicular cancer diagnosis. Really, there's a couple of guys. One guy, Damien, he had the same thing. It was a wee bit back to front for him. Obviously, when I had mine, it was like step by step. It was you're going to lose your testicle, so you're going to have to go to the. I don't know if it's the QMU or the general. I had to go to give a sample. But did you have to give a sperm sample, or were you like? Did you just get it? Aye, and that was it.
It was basically just it was like we're not taking any chances with this. We'll just get it out.
How was that for you then? Like, see, as a couple, obviously, you maybe weren't planning on having more kids, but you didn't know, you know.
That was the kind of first time when a lot of stuff hit home as well, because that was never thought of. As I say, at the time when I'd heard a germ cell tumour, the testicular cancer thing never even registered with me. And then when I was in the beats and the consultant says that basically you'll never be able to have kids again. That was, and I think we always spoke, and we laugh, we've got 2 wee girls, and we always said the only way we'd have another one is if we could guarantee it was going to be a boy. And I've always joked and said, I think I've only got the minerals to have a lassie. But we're lucky with the 2 that we've got, and they're healthy and they're happy and they're great. So I think once it really settled in, it was like, right, it is, and there's obviously the option that you can get your sperm frozen, and it was just, I'm not going to bother. We've got everything that we want. So it was basically just we're constant. It would just be another thing, another span on the works to worry about. I just thought we'll just get knuckled down and get through this. We've got everything we need. We don't. So but as you say, I was never expecting even to hear that getting said to you though. You'll never be able to have kids again, basically. It did take you back a wee bit, but we were, as I say, it was once we really sat and thought about it, we were only planning having another one anyway. So
but even though it's funny, it's like it's almost like a bereavement of a thing that can happen, because like even though you know that you weren't going to have any more, there's still this thing that but that's been taken away from me, and it's not my choice type of thing. So because even when in like me and my wife, we struggled to conceive when we were trying for we ended up getting a wee girl, and it was almost to the point of getting IVF, but then like my wife fell pregnant naturally, and so that was great. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's fine we've had that, but it's the after of like, so like we've had a wee girl, we've got my laddie who's going to be 16, so we've got, like you say, we've got 2 healthy weans, and we kind of made the decision that like, I'll just go and get my a vasectomy, right? So I went and got the vasectomy, but even making that conscious decision, I remember like after it kind of being like, wow, that's really done. You know, and I suppose, and for my wife, that was the kind of big thing as well, like especially during the cancer treatment, you know, that getting taken away from her. And there was no way really, you know, at that time we were trying, but, you know, if we had been this age, I still think we would have felt the impact of that, you know. And it's like, how did your partner feel? Was she just like, it doesn't matter? Or
basically,
was
if anything, as you say, I was probably more gutted at the time than what she was. I think she just had her mind on
you getting better,
basically.
Right.
I mean, I was told by the surgeon, even if I didn't have to lose a testicle, I still wouldn't be able to kids, because when he was going in, he would have to sever nerves that are in there, and the nerves that he has to sever are the ones that give you the ability to ejaculate. So that's completely gone. You still get the feeling of an orgasm and everything, but there's nothing.
No mess,
basically. So I wasn't getting a choice in it.
Aye.
Whether I had to, even if I managed to keep my testicle, it was still going to be over.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I say aye. Well, I always find it weird to say I was in a lucky position when you're lying there, but I was in a lucky position that we have got the kids that we've got, and we're happy and healthy and still here.
Aye. Did you have any kind of like, because most guys like probably don't have any kind of real body issues as such. Like there's always things you'd maybe go, I wish I was this, I wish I was that, but no real body issues as such. But did you feel anything, see when you lost that testicle, did that make you feel anything negative about yourself?
No.
You were just like,
I'll rip the piss out myself probably more than the next person will rip the piss out of me. It's like I do laugh and joke about it. I think it's something that's probably helped me get through it. Been able to laugh about it, even obviously if you'd say it in certain circumstances, but I've kind of always been like that. I'm more positive than anything. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that helped me get through everything in general, was just being positive about it and not letting it get you down, as you say. But I still could understand why it would affect people. Yeah. You know what it's like growing up. It's that full stigma. You're a man into it, and you lose this. You're no. So I could understand that, but mentally, I feel like I'm strong enough that things like that don't affect me.
I was the same. Like, I'm presuming then that you didn't get a prosthetic testicle. Then you just it'd be too much complications for you at that point anyway.
I'd actually, there was somebody in there that had got it, and he said the weird feeling it. Said it actually just didn't feel normal until you get used to it. And I'm like, there's no point. I don't plan on running about showing folk it. So it's like,
I always say, like, if they gave me one that lit up or sounded like a bell, I'd be showing folk, but I didn't need
Bluetooth it. For music or something.
A vibrate function. Do you know what I mean?
I just wasn't bothered at all. It was more, it was just let's just get on this and really just get knuckled down and concentrate and getting better.
Well, I see you kind of go back to that kind of nerve thing. I don't know. I think that his consultant must have told him this, but it was one of the guys, John, was on here, and the same thing happened for him. He ended up like that. The tumour was right on that, so they had to cut the nerve. And but the doctor says, well, it's can affect your ejaculation, but it's the same nerve that determines whether you've got smelly feet or not. So if they cut it, you didn't have smelly feet. So you'll hate to check your socks, right?
That was one of the other ones was that you lose the ability to sweat in your legs.
Oh, really? Aye.
So and you lose the sensation of goosebumps.
Oh, really?
On your legs.
Aye. Wow. Hey.
So that was like the three things that came with getting these nerves severed.
Like this sounds like a crazy thing to say, but I'm like, I wish I had that, because like, see when I get, especially see when I get ill, my legs sweat like mad, man.
It's good at its benefits. So it's one of them. You don't think about it, so you don't even notice. It's probably never even thought about it. As you said, maybe you'd notice it more than I would. It's just weird wee things. It's like it shows you how amazing the body is.
Where everyone's connected and why it's connected.
It's a simple one wee thing getting severed can impact so many different things.
That's why, like, see when I was in hospital, did you go for it? Did you get any of the treatments? Because I got reflexology done on me.
Aye. Great.
Amazing, And I was always a bit kind of, I thought reflexology was one of these kind of meh, okay, things, right? And I think I've told this story on this podcast before, but the wife was rubbing my feet, and it felt like all of a sudden there was just a lovely warmth like coming through my stomach, right? And I said to her, I went, see that bit you're touching? Would that be anything to do with my stomach? She's like, aye. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what are you feeling? And I told her, and she went, yeah, so that's exactly this. And it was immense. And from that point on, and when you go on and you read about different parts, especially when you have testicular cancer and all these nerves, you realise that reflexology isn't nonsense. So see somebody going, no, see if you rub that bit, it'll stop your headache. It's like, I'll believe that now because of how I felt at that point in time,
well,
you know?
When you're saying that, it was on both my feet. The same part on both my feet was sore, and it was my missus. Like, obviously, I'd been getting the massage, the reflexology, and that when I was in there, and she'd checked up on the internet, and it was like that part of your foot was connected to your duodenum.
Ah, wow.
So that then straight away you're like, is this just a coincidence? Or obviously you're like, that's where the tumour was attached to and causing that many issues, and all of a sudden my feet are saying this is where it's connected to.
So there you go.
So when you're saying things like that, obviously in your stomach and that, it's definitely it's weird. Everything is connected in some way, and it's hard to believe.
Well, see, like if there's like guys who are in the middle of treatment now and they're in the Beatson and they come round and offer reflexology, take it.
Aye.
It's so amazing. It's amazingly relaxing as well.
Aye.
Yeah.
And it was the actual, the end up, they'll just coming down to my bed. See, because obviously I'm there and I'm hooked up to chemo most of the time. So I couldn't exactly go up to the wee centre. So they were coming down, I was just lying in my bed.
Well, that happened to me. It was like I was just lying in bed and the wee wife came round. She went, oh, I'm offering this reflexology. I went, aye. And then, so my dad was bringing my wife up to the hospital, to the Beatson to see me. And I must have been this must have been during like my first round of chemo. So everybody was still dead worried, like, because it's chemo. And then the nurses was like, they saw the curtain round and the nurses was like, oh, can you give him a minute? And the panicked. They went, he's just getting a foot massage. And they're like, that bandit is sitting there. We're all up to high door and he's getting a foot massage.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Honestly. I think it's just another wee thing that the Beatson does. And it's like, genuinely, I couldn't praise the people in there enough. And even the likes of yourself and Cahonas, I've never felt so ease. Like, I think when you're getting in there, obviously you don't know what to expect and you're worried, you don't know how anything's going to go. And that first day we went in, and you speak to the consultants and everything, and we Davey, the trolley guy, he comes round, it was getting out the coffees, and he'd been in the exact same position that me and yourself had been in, and literally spoke to me and put me at ease. That was the best conversation I had when I got there that day, was speaking to him.
Aye.
And then the likes obviously getting in touch with yourself and being able to speak to people that's been in the same position as you is the best thing. So it is. And I think that, as I say, the nurses, I found it a lot easier in the Beats than I did the Queen Elizabeth. At the Queen Elizabeth, it's single rooms and it's that busy, you don't see anybody.
Yeah.
I think being in at the Beats, and you're obviously in rooms where there could be 6 people in it at times, so you can have the banter with other people in your room. The nurses are in and out day and night, and they're all that friendly.
Yeah, aye.
I still go up, when I go up for my checkups, I still go up into the ward and see them. So I do, because I owe them my life.
Aye.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
It's that is just the best way to put it. And aye, it's weird to say that you enjoyed being in there. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
aye.
I didn't enjoy what was happening when I was in there, but actually having, like, you make pals, and I think sometimes when you think, right, I'm going back up to start my next round of treatment, you're like, I wonder who'll be in this time, and what room am I going to be in, what bed am I going to be in, and what nurses are going to be on shift, and there's a wee weird excitement about it, because you're getting to see every day again. And
see, because of the chemo that I was on, I don't know if, because I was on, I had the bleomycin and platinum one.
Right.
So I was having to get my kidneys checked all the time, so I was having to pee into the bottle.
Aye.
Did you have to do that too?
Horrible.
Aye. But I used to draw on the bottles for the nursing staff to take away. So like I'd turn them into like snakes and golf clubs. And, do you know what I mean? Like, and it was funny because there was one night I ended up with sepsis.
Right.
So I was spewing at home. Ken, how you get the wee red book to say like, so I phoned the number. Well, my wife phoned the number, and they're like, I don't know. And then we phoned the beats, and they're like, just bring him up. He's in a couple of days anyway. Just bring him up. So went up. Turned out I had sepsis, and that night I didn't do my wee drawings because I was just knackered, and the nurses were like, oh, we miss it though. You know what I mean? They were missing their wee drawings, but I was just too gubbed. But then I was like, give me extra ones, the more I know.
I still remember doing that. I can always remember when folk that were coming in I hadn't seen before, and I was warning them just to prepare yourself for the peeing all night. And I can just remember going through the night, all you heard was that toilet door opening and shutting
all the time. All the time.
All night.
I was like, just because I was up that often, I was like, couldn't just give me the bottles next to my bed. I can't be by the toilet. Aye.
That's what I done.
Aye.
And I remember it was another good story during my first round when I was in the Queen Elizabeth, and I was in this. There was like a specialised room because you're in intensive care. It's for airflow.
Right.
So I had my own toilet, and I was getting up and down. Then when it got to the night, I can remember I was like, I can't be bothered getting up. Every time I got up, I was having to unhook myself from all the cables and all the monitors, and so I was like, right, I'll just sit up on the bed on my knees, right? And something just went through my head, and I was like, what if somebody was to walk in here, right? So see that thought in my head caused my heart rate to boom.
Right.
Next, all the machines started going off, and the next thing, 4 nurses came sprinting in, and I'm standing up, I'm up on the bed, getting like, I'm just doing a pee. It was like I can remember. And it was the next day, every nurse kent about it.
Like, you got busted last night.
Oh, what a laugh.
I was that out at one time, I was like that, and I forgot that I had the bottles, and I was sleeping, I was sound asleep. And then I heard this noise for the guy next door who was really quite unwell. I was like, oh, and I went like that, and lifted what I thought was my water bottle, and it wasn't until I got the cardboard, and thank God the long neck on the bottles, because I tasted the cardboard and went, oh no, I nearly drank my own pee.
That would have woke you up.
That would have woke me up.
Anyway.
I was being like that, and what's the policeman in Dumb and Dumber like that.
How did you receive your chemo? Were you just
IV? Just IV.
IV.
Yeah. Did you get a pick line?
I ended a hick line.
A hick line. What did you get? A hick line?
Was on that side. Still street by the scars.
Oh, aye, just under yours. Aye.
So that went up into, went in through my chest and up into your jugular.
Aye.
So that's how they took all the blood and how they gave you the.
Aye.
Which is weird because I was on for the full duration.
Aye.
That's when I was at home and everything. That was these tubes hanging from me. It was weird.
Must be weird. Aye.
It was great.
Aye.
It was genuinely. It was name a jab.
I know how to get it.
Aye.
I know.
Every time you were getting bloods done, they just hooked it into that and away it
went. Obviously, you kind of touched on like kind of Cahonas as well, and you received one of the kind of boxes. I suppose, like, what was that like getting that? Like, just for a Cahonas point of view, we're always interested. Like,
there was an excitement about it,
right?
You know what I mean? It was something. Everybody spoke about how good it was, and it was basically it explained to me it was basically your cell and is it Richie?
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically you should set this up, and it was for things that have made your stay more comfortable, going through all the different things, and so it was like I was more intrigued to see what was going to be in it, and that. When you receive the box and you're going through everything, it's like the warm soaks. They were amazing. Mm-hmm. So you care what it's like when you're sitting there, you've no body here, and you're freezing. They were great. And then when I was in, any time I went in there, it was roasting hot outside. So that wee cold towel, it was a lifesaver. And the thing like the toothbrush, just the nice soft toothbrush. I'm always a hard toothbrush person, but you quickly realise that that's no just everything. The pen, notepad, everything. It's wee things you'd never think until they're sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
And you go, that's great. I felt it was something that just kind of brightens your day that wee bit. It was something you look forward to, and as I say, you can through it, and the bottles, I still use the bottles, the coffee mug. It's great.
Aye. Oh, I'm glad that
it's a massive thank you to yourselves for what you do.
No, not at all. I think it's something that it helps try and build that community as well, and obviously having partners like ball bags as well, like you know, helping put like sometimes we get snoods to put in, but then you got the boxers as well. You know, it's Richie's done amazing putting all this together. You know, and really kind of doing his research and asking guys like what was useful. You know, even the colouring book. You know, my laddie was 4 going on 5 when I went through my treatment. And see the colouring book, it would have been great if he had, because obviously it didn't exist when I had mine. But it would have been great for him, you know, coming up to the hospital and getting a wee colour and things like that.
It's simple wee things like that, as I say, you don't think of until you're in that position.
So if there was like anything that you could say to either yourself or somebody else who's about to or is going through treatment, what kind of advice would you give? What would you say?
Give it 100%. Genuinely, just mentally, just be there mentally. It's like, I think that was the hardest part of it all, is try to be mentally in the right place. I say, especially when your family's turning up and leaving, it's like you're stuck there with your thoughts, and it's just be positive. Just be positive, knuckle down, and give it everything you've got. It's kind of, going through as I say, everything that happened to me in there was getting bad news. Everything was negative. So I needed to really have that positive attitude to everything. I don't know where I'd have been. Just speak to folk. If you've got issue, it was like, just make pals. If there's something not right, talk to folk. I just found a lot. I don't know. It's hard. I'd say it's positive. Get a positive attitude will get you far. You're in that position.
And like you say, like reaching out and talking to folk. You know, I mean, that's why I put my number in the box. You know, because I want you to know that either somebody who's went through it that you can text right away, because there might not be anybody there wasn't anybody with testicular cancer in when I was in. So I reach out, if whether it be online forums, but you know, as Cahonas, we're there as well.
That's what I said to you that time. That was the best thing, was having that phone number in the box that time, and just being able to have conversations with you. I was in it, and it certainly helped. There was even different wee things like what you found easy to eat, how you're going through, how you had ulcers, and just different wee things like that you can actually prepare yourself for before it happens. Luckily enough for me, I didn't get the ulcers. It was about the only thing I didn't get. But being able to speak to people who have been in your position was just valuable. It was everything. So I can't thank you enough, and I keep telling other people the amount of messages I was getting even for like people I went to school with, I've not seen in 20 years, no heard from in 20 years. You've no idea just the uplifting effect that has on you. Being able to read these messages and just support, it's unbelievable. It makes you feel proud. So it does, to put it that way. You've always had an effect on people's lives that they feel they can message you, and it helped. It went a long, long way.
Good.
It's something that will never be forgotten, put it that way.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for coming on Check 1 2.
I really appreciate it.
Honestly, thanks for telling your story, and thanks for coming all the way up and doing that. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to you know, the guys who are going through it. So thank you so much, mate.
No, thanks to you, and just keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, it'll help a lot of people.
Cheers, brother.